Welcome to Solutions Studio. This is a free series on C programming language. If you like these videos, please subscribe to follow along with this series. Also, please like and leave a comment and share the video to help spread this series. Hello and welcome to this episode, and in this episode we discuss about creating a random access files. Previously, in the previous episodes, we have created sequential files, and every time that we have entered some data into a file using ifprintf or reading using fscanf, it has always been sequential data. And the problem with sequential data is that, for example, in here, if I want to go to Sam and want to read the data for Sam directly, then I need to know the details about these two records before Sam, because if I want to seek my cursor to this third line for Sam, I have to know how many characters are these two records, so I can seek and go beyond these two records and reach the third record, because this is a sequential file, and this is the problem with a sequential file. It's not easy to go to an exact record, because each one of these records, they have taken a different amount of memory and different spaces in the file. Now, for that reason, we want to create random access files, and this will make it easy for us to read specifically the record that we need. In this episode, we only want to create the file, and in the coming episodes, we are going to write into these random access files and manipulate the data into those files. But for now, here we have created a structure of records. This structure has two members, the name of the person and the score of the person, just like this sequential file in here. And then we have created a file pointer. We want to create a random access file.txt, and we have initialized an object of the type records structure with the initial data of name and the initial score of 0. And then we want to create some predefined 10 records using a for loop. It starts from 1, it goes until 10, and it writes into this file pointer. So the data that we want this function to write into the file pointer is the initial data in here. It is this object in here, and we can specify how many bytes each one of these objects should take. And in here, instead of specifying the size statically, we've used the size of operator with this structure, and the size of operator would return the size for this structure, and this is how many bytes we want to allocate for the initial data that is going to be written into the file. And this one is used if we have an array of data that we want to enter into this file. For currently, because this object is not an array, that's why we use a 1. How many elements of the array we want it to be written to the file. And finally here, obviously, the file that is going to be written to. Once this is done, we want to close the file. Let's go and run this program. The program was run successfully. You can see the return value 0 in here. Now let's go and open this file. This file is called random access file. And as you can see in here, that all of this 10 data with specifically exact same amount of bytes has been created for each one of these records. So name, and also the value 0, which is not really visible in here, but the amount of data that an integer would take is basically allocated in this spot for 10 records. And this is a random access file that we have created. Now, going on in the coming episodes, we are going to manipulate and write specific records into this random access file. Stay tuned, and I'll see you in the coming episodes.